Hi there guys, I've got another carbon fiber offering from the fine folks over at Enya Global, and full disclosure, they have sent this instrument to me, which means that I am obviously compromised in some respect. I'm just going to tell you a couple of things that I can't show you and that aren't simple specifications that you could of course read yourself. Things like the neck is a very nice standard profile. Unlike their electric guitar, which was an asymmetric neck, this is pretty standard, and I would liken it to something like a Takamine. I had I think it was an EAN 10C or something like that, which was the Dreadnought. Quite a nice deep neck, but not stupidly wide this direction. The other thing that I thought was of interest here was that the top itself, and I'm being careful to tilt the instrument forwards, because if I lean it back, you'll be able to see my softbox there. It's got a very high gloss to it, but you can also see it's got a carbon fiber weave. There's apparently 3 sheets of carbon fiber making up this weave, and if you feel the inside through the sound hole on the top, you can actually feel the weave of the carbon fiber. Now on the back, it's more of this kind of a flat plastic look, and it's slightly bowl back as well. Not tremendously. We're not talking like, you know, those Ovation guitars that slide off you this direction because they're bowl backed, but it just has a little bit of a curvature to it. But when you look into the guitar, it looks almost like a plastic back. So that's made out of a slightly different material to the top. But what was also interesting is that if you can feel through the sound hole, obviously you can't do that, I can, you'll feel that there's some kind of bracing going on. I just thought that that was a kind of a quirky thing, given that it's got this space-age material, but relatively traditional construction, even though I would imagine that bracing is probably part of the whole molding process, and it's all one piece. I'm going to show you some isolated examples right now of the internal effects, which is one of the standout features. There is in here a little tiny speaker, and you can play things like reverb and delay through the sound hole regardless of whether you're plugged in or not, which is kind of cool for players playing at home, and could also be really useful for people attending jams or something like that, or even a gig if you don't want to take a whole rig with you, because those sounds can be outputted through the regular jack output along with the guitar signal, and controlled via this little knob here. So I'm going to show you that right now. Or something like that. I'm not really an acoustic player. Anyway, you get the idea. So you've heard some isolated examples. What I'm going to do now is I want to play you the internal speaker. So I'm going to unplug the guitar, and that will cause it to turn off. Now I've done this 3 times. Hopefully this will turn on this time. There it is. So it's illuminated green, and when it's on green with the volume all the way up, nothing happens because there's no effect on the first available slot. There are 4 slots. When you hit it again, it's going to go blue, and this is reverb. Now what you're hearing there is coming out of the face of the guitar, or out of the sound hole. You can see it's unplugged, right? You can hear there's some reverb. Then if I hit it again, think that was it. No, was it? No. There it is. So we're into a lighter blue color here, and now this is delay. It's very nice. And then we have on the last one a kind of a mauvey purpley sort of situation, and it sounds like this, which is some kind of wobbly gargly thing. I'm not quite sure what I would play with that, but you know, you can fill your boots. So those are the internal sounds, and I will show you the app in just a second. One other thing about the onboard effect parameter knob right here. This controls the amount of effect that comes out of your regular jack output, but it also controls the guitar signal coming out of the jack output. And there's no way to turn down the effect relative to the guitar signal without using the app. This is something that I think Enya could maybe do with tweaking. I think a double tap to get into the effect parameter control, and then a double tap to get back into the control of the guitar signal itself would be incredibly handy. I'm just going to show you the app right now. This is your tools section, so you've got things like drums and metronome and a really good tuner. And this tuner will function just through the internal microphone of the phone. You don't actually have to turn the guitar on, so this would work for anything. And you can have you know, chromatic tuner, E flat, dad-gad, whatever you want, if you wanted to tune to specific notes, or it could just be fully chromatic. And then you've got this chord section, which is good for beginners. This will show you different chords and a little picture of how to play it there. And then on this one, this is kind of cool, you can actually draw the chord in. So let's say you saw somebody playing something, you saw somebody play the chord of G, and there it is. It tells you what that chord is, and you can add extra notes in to let you know what that chord would be. That's kind of a neat thing for a beginner. And then you've got this songs thing over here, where there's various songs that they've charted out, and you can do chord boxes. Although I just shot this section of the video previously and I realized you can't see the charts because it's white and I can't film it. Now this thing in the middle is more about buying the instrument. You can select the instrument. What I can't work out is how to edit the EQ and compression for the internal effects. That's pure user error. It is possible. I just don't know how you do it. You can charge via USB. I will put a better picture of this on the screen. But you've got a regular USB-C connection along with your jack output in the bottom of the guitar, which saves you having to buy rather expensive 9-volt batteries now, although you are going to have to be diligent about keeping it charged because, of course, if it goes flat on a gig, you can't just change the battery out. So who is this instrument for? I think that this is ideal for a gigging guitarist. I think that because it's temperature and moisture resistant in terms of the material, and the fact that it's decidedly mid-range in terms of price, make it something that you don't have to baby quite so much. Just going back to my Laravel Parlor that's off screen here, this is my only acoustic guitar, but it's got a relatively soft spruce top to it and a satin finish, and it'll ding very easily. So I'm quite precious about taking that one out, whereas this one is kind of a utilitarian tool, shall we say. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching the video. I hope you found it useful. Thank you to Enya for sending the guitar across to me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.